Hey everyone, it's Spoonie, and the latest news from Microsoft is that they have just ended their movies and TV service, which means they're no longer going to be offering movies for digital rental or digital purchase. Now, this really hurts me.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Um, I've been buying stuff from back when it was Zune. I would use extra Microsoft points because they always sold it to you in weird amounts. Like you need 600 to get a game, but you had to buy them in increments of 800, so I'd always use leftover points to buy episodes and stuff. So the fact that even after they shut Zune down and they still honored my purchases from that platform, I thought, Microsoft's a good guy. Obviously, it's a multi-trillion-dollar corporation, but I respected that. And so over the next, it's been almost 16 years now, 17. I've been building my digital collection through the marketplace, and I'll show you guys that in a sec. I'll get to it. Um, like I said, this is a real blow for me because it's only a matter of time now before this stuff is gone. Because the only way to Okay, so first of all, I want to say that if you're in the United States, you can use the Movies Anywhere program to move some of your titles over. I know that Movies Anywhere doesn't support A24 or Lionsgate or MGM, so not all your stuff is going to carry over, and none of your shows will, but you can still kind of save some of your collection. Now, I'm in Canada, and people all around the world, in UK, New Zealand, everybody's being hit by this.
No. My man Sin City said, it's only money.
I know the issue of digital ownership isn't exactly new, and it's not actually the first time Microsoft has taken stuff away from me. As I said, I did kind of support the Zune Marketplace. I did manage to subscribe to Groove about 3 weeks before they canceled the service, so I got a full refund, but I still got to enjoy the period. And it's sad they did away with it because I love the integration to have your Groove playlist as a radio station within Forza Horizon 3. And it was just cool that randomly the game would throw your music into it, so that was really nice. Um, And of course, there's the failure that was Connect. I did get the first one, but enough said. Anyway, so like I'm saying, we're since 2008 maybe. So let's say 2009 because I know I've got stuff at least from that age. So we're talking like yeah, 16 going on 17 years. Like this is pretty devastating for me. Some of this stuff I do have on disc on either DVD or Blu-ray, but a lot of it I don't. And I think anybody that browsed the marketplace, the Windows, Microsoft, Xbox marketplace, will tell you that they had access to stuff that you could buy or rent there that you can't find on any other streaming platforms. I'm kicking myself for not buying Neon Genesis Evangelion when I had the chance, because now that that marketplace is gone, I've tried to look and all I can find is streaming services that offer it. But I want to own the series. It's one of my favorite animes, and I know the Blu-ray set isn't too expensive. I think it's like 70 bucks Canadian or something. Um, they went out of their way over the last decade to condition us into digital goods, and I fully embraced it. I like to joke about how my Xbox One is still a virgin because it's never been penetrated by the filth of physical media. It does have a disk drive, never put a single disc in it. Back to the topic of the movies and stuff, it is only a matter of time before this stuff goes away. And how you know that is because of how you access your media library. It's through an app. It's the Microsoft Movies and TV app. Now, because they're no longer selling stuff, they have less incentive to support the app with updates. And so at some point, they are going to kind of cut off the app and then all your stuff is gone. And it's like it's a matter of time. They're not making money from the service. Why would they keep it going? Like if I buy a copy of like Star Wars back in 2009, should I be able to stream it forever? I mean, I understand the answer should be no, but at the same time, this really sucks as a custom. Well, that's a whole other thing. Um, I have made some videos about how on the Xbox ecosystem, I'm getting close to 1 million gamer score. I'm at like 956,000 right now, so almost 40K away. And after this, I think I might just push to get the million and then not necessarily walk away completely, but I'm going to cancel my Game Pass subscription more than likely. Um, really, I just need to finish off a couple of games on there. But even then, I don't know. Like I've been playing Metaphor ReFantasia lately, and I'm towards the end game of my first playthrough. I'm going through these towers, the optional towers where you can fight those powerful dragons. I beat one, went to the next one, saved right before the fight, and then this news came in. And to be honest with you, I have lost all motivation to finish the game, which is a shame because it is an excellent game. But, I'm just in such a funk over this. I think I'm just going to delete it off the hard drive. And yeah, like I've already started kind of investing a little bit into Steam. At the very least, rebuying some of the games I had on Xbox because they've been dirt cheap on Steam sales lately, which is nice. So I found kind of an alternative for that. And to be fair, like I've been supporting Xbox since the 360. I have not owned a PlayStation for 3 generations now. And I am kind of excited to unlock my first PlayStation trophies. I think it's going to be through Ghosts of Tsushima, but maybe even Lego Horizon, because those games on the Steam store, you can't link them with your PlayStation account, which I don't have, so I get to create one. Anyways, before I get into showing you guys your collection, I just want to ask if you can like yourself, because you're worth it, and subscribe to life, because we only get one. Okay, so now before I get into the details on all of this stuff, I just want to throw out a few caveats here. First of all, I claimed everything on the store that was free, even if it's something I had no interest in. Um, if it was free, I downloaded it. So there's a number of TV shows and even a couple movies on here where it looks like I might own it, but I don't. 12 Monkeys, 2 seasons. I do not like the movie I have. It's a classic movie. But if you go in here, and you can't even rent or buy the episodes anymore, but I did download the sneak peek. That's from 2014. Um, so there's a lot like that. It'll show it as like a series listing, but it might only be 1 or 2 trailers or special features I was able to download. Um, so you, something you'll probably notice throughout here is I'm a big horror fan. Um, I love, first of all, I love me some shark movies. I know it's not typical shark behavior. I know that they're not these vicious things, most of them. Um, but there's something being trapped, like underwater is such an alien environment and it's on our own planet. Like humans are not meant to be down there. It's the complete opposite of what we need air. There is like no air there. We shouldn't be there. But it's still cool. And the idea that you're in this completely alien environment and unlike on land where humans are basically the apex predators because we have technology that can kill anything else, underwater are we don't have the same kind of advantage. Like these things swim all day. They're really powerful, strong. Um, but enough about shark movies. You can see I've got all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Favorite one. Okay, the first one. But then I really do like Dream Warriors Part 3. I think That was actually the first one I saw. It was on TV or something. So maybe that's why it sticks with me. And the second one, oh my God, if you guys haven't heard, they basically made it like an allegory for a young man coming out with his sexuality. And you should try to find some YouTube videos on it or something because it's interesting and funny. And it's like the studio did not know what was going on when they did that. So they had been offering free previews of big movies that were coming out, anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. I see this one is 9 minutes. Um, Even if I had no interest in the film, it's something I would download. So a lot of stuff like this, Toy Story, Bible Continues, I just got the trailers. Most of the Alien stuff, I was waiting for a better price deal on Romulus, and I will explain why that is, because Romulus has actually been on sale many times. And one of the things I loved about the marketplace, Microsoft Marketplace, and this really was the thing that kind of pushed me to go embrace digital, is that I know Antlers has it, is they put out movies, digital movies that had the special features off the Blu-ray. Look at this, Antlers. Which is a good movie. I recommend you check it out. Um, Look, special features, exploration of modern horror with Guillermo del Toro. And, some of these movies, like, they have, like, full commentary. So, I don't know that any other digital platform offered that, and that's a shame. That's probably the one thing I miss about physical, is that most things had special features, even if it was just, like, movie trailers and crap. Um, I mean, Aqua Teen is amazing. I was really starting to get into the old vintage DC shows. Like, this is Aquaman. This is around the time of, the whole Super Friends era. I do have some of that as well. Um, I did like to pick up some of... They were really good for anime. When they had sales, you could get full seasons of anime for, I mean, $4.99 Canadian, $5. Like, that's a pretty sweet deal, especially since most of these things, now that the store is gone, the only way to watch them is streaming through Crunchyroll. Like, there's no digital way to own them. You either shell out for DVDs or you stream it. So, I mean, I got Armitage because that's something I watched when I was younger. I have fondness for it. I've got all of the Attack of Titan. I'm sorry, I preferred the dub on this one. All of Avatar. Now, Avengers Infinity War. Of course, I got all the special features and crap. Movie with commentary. Um, this movie kind of means a lot to me because this is actually the first movie, or sorry, this is the last movie I ever saw in a movie theater. I've had some really terrible health issues. So much Batman stuff. Batman, the 1960s Adam West. I've got all the movies, the 1960s movie, all the animated stuff, including the versus TMNT, which I haven't watched, but my friend Boomer the Nerd assures me um, that these were good storylines. I think in the comics they did 3 team-ups. Or Batman the Animated Series, all 4 seasons of it. I mean, it's a classic TV show. If you're from that era, if you're from this generation, I guess millennials, and you grew up in that era, you're probably watching this. But this other one, Batman Brave and the Bold, is a little more recent. I'm saying that it's probably like 10 to 15 years at this point. Um, in some ways, I kind of like it better than Batman the Animated Series. This was groundbreaking in TV. This is a lot more fun, and they mine the comics, and DC has some really weird and interesting characters. And so to see all these team-ups, and they also, the character Blue Beetle got a big push through this. Um, Battlestar Galactica, the miniseries, the full series, the plan, which it takes place alongside the main series, but if you guys haven't seen it, watch the plan after everything else, because there's things in here that will spoil the main series. Um, After that show ended, at some point they did a direct-to-video um, special called Battlestar Galactica Blood and Chrome. This guy here is supposed to be a young Adama, so this takes place during the first Cylon War, which they referenced a lot in the remake Battlestar. So this was intending to show us the first human Cylon War, but I guess sales weren't good, so they didn't do it. Bento is actually kind of a funny anime. It's about this convenience store where at the end of the day they sell all the discounted bento boxes, and there's like gangs that fight over it. Uh, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I have both of them, and I think Better Call Saul. I think I paid $20 for both of them. So for $40, I got all of Better Call Saul, all of Breaking Bad. Beyond Scared Straight, this is the stuff I was buying off Zoom. Let me see what, this is 2011. Huh. I guess it still would have been Zoom then, right? Because they didn't go to Microsoft Movies in Stores till 2012. That's when they rebranded it, I think. Um, Another reason I love this store is they would give away free seasons of anime. Black Clover here. I haven't really watched it, haven't really tried. To be fair, you can see I've got the Japanese, the subbed, and the uncut versions, and these were all free. The idea was they're having big anime sales on, so they give you the first season of each one so that you can see like, hey, I like this or I don't, and if you do, guess what? The rest of it's on sale and you can buy them all. So I have, they stopped doing that a while ago. At some point they were offering these like sample packs, which is like the first 3 episodes, which I guess is fair because it'll give you a good taste of the show. But I really missed when they were doing full seasons. Um, if you guys have seen Blacklist and you know how it ends, like with who Elizabeth Keene's mother is, please leave a comment because that's a weird ending. Um, Blade Runner, I only own the final cut. To me, that's the only one worth owning. The theatrical cut is beyond dumb. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah, see, like Bright Falls. This was the episodic series that they released as a countdown to Alan Wake. Um, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of creepy, but at the same time, nothing really happens, and it barely has any bearing on what actually happens throughout the game. I guess it just kind of sets the mood a little bit. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a show that I love. I'm glad I got the whole thing. I rewatched this a lot. Um, that's something that there's a lot of shows like that. This, but especially like Seinfeld and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like these are like comfort shows. I mentioned that like I not able to leave the house a whole lot, so being able to find a new movie for 3, 4, 5 bucks on the store, be like, hey, you know what? If it sucks, and who cares? It's not a big investment. Um, so I'm glad I have some of this, but for how long? I've seen people. I go on the True Achievements Xbox message boards because I'm a part of the website. Um, I've seen people talking about like maybe a year. Now I know Microsoft's policy, like when they sunset their services, meaning like they stop supporting them because there's more recent services, they usually provide about a 5-year window where they will continue to offer updates, but beyond that, they stop supporting it, meaning that, like, okay, so in the case of Windows, I don't know if you guys have heard, but next year in 2026, Microsoft is going to be stopping support for Windows 10, and that's because Windows 11 has been out so long that they don't need to do that anymore. 2000's remake of Salem's Lot with Rob Lowe. I love this. It was a TV miniseries. I have no idea where to watch it now. Channel Zero is really good, but I am subscribed to Shudder, so thankfully I can watch it there. I don't plan, Shudder's pretty cheap, so I don't plan on canceling it anytime soon. And if I do away with my Game Pass subscription, obviously that'll actually leave me with some more money. Um, Chaos Child, Chaos Head. I was trying to get into those mages visual novel games or whatever from Japan because I heard they were kind of twisted. Like they started off a certain way and then it just got really dark. Like I don't know if you guys know Doki Doki Literature Club, but it's one of these kind of where it seems like innocuous on the surface and it gets really crazy. Chernobyl, the miniseries, if you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Fantastic. Now, yes, a lot of the actors in there are British, but that doesn't matter. There's still really good performances from everybody. Chuck is a great show. Highly recommend it if you guys have never seen it. I don't know how to watch it. It's an NBC show, so I'd assume Peacock, Universal, or whatever, but we don't get that in Canada, so I don't know. Um, Cloak and Dagger is a great kind of kids movie. Let's see, what else do we have here that is worth mentioning? Corpse Princess. When I was looking through discussions on Reddit and these other message boards, I think I saw somebody specifically mentioning like the fact that the Microsoft Store was the only place that they'd actually been able to see Corpse Princess. And even then, it was something that, I mean, it appeared and then because of, I guess, licensing issues or whatever, disappeared shortly after. I did manage to snag it up along with Cowboy Bebop. They recently added the Cowboy Bebop movie to the store. I know it's older anyways, but I didn't have a chance to get it. That sucks. All the Critters movies though, so not all hope is lost. And like I said, that I expect all this stuff to be gone soon. So maybe what I'll start doing is I'll just start watching everything in the catalog, just so. Because let's be honest, when you see the amount of stuff I have, we're only in the D's. Um, there's a lot of stuff that like I got because it was on a great deal, and like I know my wife and I will watch it at some point, but it's like $5. Get it now, watch it later. Um, Deadwood, one of my favorite shows on HBO. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, Deep Blue Sea. I love shark movies, and this is probably like the apex of like completely stupid action movie, but still there are elements that are kind of tense and scary. Deep Blue Sea 2 is a little bit better. There is a scene where a shark is eavesdropping on a guy. This is not an exaggeration. You probably find a clip on YouTube. Deep Blue Sea 3 was terrible. This was like they had some generic movie and they're like, look, we can pay for the rights to slap Deep Blue Sea on it. I skip this one. Second one you can kind of skip, but the first one you need to watch. So I got Demon Slayer, only the first season in the movie because after that they started putting them up on the store because I suspect that is ransomware for Crunchyroll. So if you want to see it, get a subscription, you pleb. DMZ is one of those shows I got because it was super cheap. Didn't watch it. There are only like 4 episodes. It's based off a Vertigo comic that actually came out in the 2010s. Um, the timing on it and the subject matter is maybe very appropriate in the 2020s, but this is not a new series. They didn't create this because of current political climate. This has been a thing. Um, oh God, Doctor Who. Now, I have so much of the classic Doctor Who on DVD. I've got like a box full of the DVDs. And again, one of the highlights for me on those is the special features. Now, they did have all the Doctor Who stuff on here. All the stuff that's like available that hasn't been lost to time, if there's still any of those. It's all on here. So, as you can see, and they were you're buying by the story, so it was cheap. It was like $6 or $7. the thing that irks me is I was not able to complete the Key to Time series. I only got the first one here. I have the whole thing on DVD. I have the box set. Yeah, the Seventh Doctor. This was the very last one with the cheetah people. It's a garbage episode, but it's important. Um, okay, so this situation where I bought Doom Patrol the first season, and as I'm waiting for the other seasons to go on sale, I they have the whole series on sale at a price that is better than buying the remaining 4 seasons of this. It was cheaper to sort of rebuy or double dip. So I've done that here, and I've done that with a couple other shows. Arrow up top, you've seen. I've got like a couple episodes or a couple seasons, and then I've got the complete series. Doctor Stone Uncut. I'm never gonna get to continue that on this platform. Dragon Ball. This irks me. So I got all of the OG Dragon Ball. I've got all of Dragon Ball Super in Japanese. Dragon Ball Z rarely went on sale. It was always so expensive. So I only have the first 3 seasons, which I think is up to the introduction of Frieza. I think it's before he goes Super Saiyan for the first time. Anyways, between that and I missed my chance to buy Dragon Ball Daima, now I can never have the full series on my collection. Escape room movies, I like. Now, the second escape room movie is actually kind of interesting. It's my understanding that the extended cut, which I believe is now supposed to be like the real version, is completely different from the theatrical cut. I'm talking about like there's a character in the movie that's not in the extended cut. The ending is completely different. But I still haven't watched this one yet. So I was trying to get Evangelion. I wasn't able to get the series with the episodes, but I was trying to get some of the movies and stuff. I don't know that I got End of Evangelion though, unfortunately. I swear, Bella Thorne, I just have the see episode 100. It's just a trailer. Don't worry, I'm not buying this stuff. Uh, this Fantasia is the very last thing I purchased off the store. Why did I do that? First of all, I love Fantasia. I think the music and the animation that accompanies it is fantastic. But also, look at these special features. Look, in addition to the movie, you've got 3 different commentary tracks by the artists, well, people that are surviving. Our artists or historians, any of the musicians that did the orchestra, or I guess maybe the people that remastered the sound for like the Blu-ray stuff. And yeah, fantastic value. It was $10 for this. And if I knew it was the last one, I probably still would have bought it. Um, Here's another thing. Fargo, started buying it. Seasons 1 through 4 came out for super cheap, so it's like, well, got a double dip. I did get all of The Walking Dead. These seasons were like $3.99 or something like. It was ridiculous. And I also have the main Walking Dead show, same deal. Fire Force, I got all of them for free. First season. I actually really liked the show, so I kept buying the uncut. Now, I thought the series was done. I don't really follow manga or anything like that, but I guess it recently came back for like a 5th series. And that sucks because like a lot of this stuff, my collection will have to be broken up if it's at all possible to purchase the new stuff and not just have to stream it. Some of the stuff on here I did buy for my wife. I will cop to if it was for me. Um, the Flight Attendant I got for my wife, but I actually really love this show. All the Friday the 13th, including Jason X, which is down there somewhere. The show From This Hurts. I was waiting. The 4th season comes out later this year. This is probably the most engaging show that's on TV right now. And yeah, I've already checked. I know I can buy the seasons off of Google, so I might do that. But so frustrating. Futurama seasons 1 through 10. This used to say Futurama the complete series, but then Disney Plus did that stupid 11th season. I don't want to call it stupid. I haven't seen it. Game of Thrones, I don't have it. I just have the free trailer. Gamer, that was one of the few free movies that I got from Microsoft. A lot of times they would do these things and people would talk about, oh yeah, I got a free copy of Rob Zombie's Halloween or this and that. The only one I ever got was Gamer, which I think is a cool movie, but it's not really good by any means. What do we have here? Oh, I got the 4K version of Ghost in the Shell, the original one. Um, okay, girls, this is 100% something for my wife. I watched the show as it was airing with her, and I didn't really care for it. But the full series was on for super cheap, and the show has an appeal to her in terms of sort of being from that age range at that time. There's stuff about that she says is kind of accurate and nostalgic, so that's cool. Goblin Slayer, no second season for me. All the recent, was it Legendary Godzilla movies, but I was also starting to try to get some of the older ones. You can see I've got Godzilla 2000, Final Wars, which is amazing, and Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. I wanted to get versus Destroya, but such is life. Goldberg's complete series, looking forward to that. Good Place is just the trailers. I'm actually working my way through Gotham sort of recently, maybe halfway through the show. And I got to admit, I didn't give it a chance when it came on the air, but it's a really good show, and in a lot of ways, I think it's something that they've never actually covered before. Bruce Wayne's childhood, because in all the books, it's like his parents get murdered, and then it jumps forward to like when he's like a young adult or and he's in his 20s and he's working and studying and perfecting his body and his mind. But it's like we never really got to see a lot about, what happened to Bruce Wayne in the years immediately following his parents' death. Um, One of the things that was cool is they worked in the Court of Owls, starting with the third season. So he suspected, maybe his parents' death were part of this larger thing. It was really good. Um, Green Lantern, the animated series, the kind of, well, besides Zeta Project, the kind of forgotten child of the Bruce Timm DC animated universe. I believe it technically was set in there despite using like 3D art. I do think that it's cool that even though this show never got a proper ending, they did bring the characters back during when they were wrapping up the Young Justice show. So apparently not the exact same characters from a different universe, but it's close enough. Um, the Guild, that was all completely free because it was a online streaming show. All the recent Halloween movies, but due to distribution rates in Canada, haven't been able to get like a lot of the original ones, or the Rob Zombie ones. Handmaid's Tale is just trailers. He-Man, this is the complete series. I also have She-Ra down below, complete series. Those were like $10 each or something. Like fantastic deals they used to have. Higurashi When They Cry. I still have only watched the first season, but I loved it and I can't wait to watch more. It looks really cutie, but it gets real like disturbingly dark in terms of the subject matter. Um, so they were super cheap. So like I watched first season, loved it, bought the rest of them, and then realized, wait, there's an uncut version. And it just in the first season, there were several instances of violence, and there's just completely a black circle over top of it. So I'm assuming in the uncut version they remove that censorship, and so you actually see her stabbing the guy instead of just, the implication of it. It's bad looking through all this. Some good memories, and they're gonna be gone soon. It ends with us. That's for my wife. Although with all the Blake Lively drama over the last year, I gotta admit I got into watching it too. It's not a good movie, by the way, but you kind of, because so much of the lawsuits going on with Blake Lively uh, involve this film and elements of this film, so it's interesting to see. It's Always Sunny wasn't able to get the new season, but I guess that's just as well. JFK is one of my favorite movies of all time because it's long and there's some great performances in it, but it's not so engaging that it like grabs your attention. It's very much what they call like a second screen type of movie for me, where it's like you put it on in the background while you're on your phone or you're on your computer or something like that. And it's like you pay attention at moments because, there's, like I said, some great moments. JoJo, man, I got all of it except for the second half of Stone Ocean. So that's really annoying. Um, I've got Justice League, all of it. I've got Justice League Unlimited, just the first season. So that sucks for me yet again. There's Justified, and then the reboot series, which I still haven't watched yet. Part of me doesn't want to, but I guess when I do a rewatch of the main show, I will follow it up with this other one. Um, knowing I'm a fan of Nicolas Cage and all his many types of performances. The guy can be a really good actor. And I like the concept of this movie. There's not enough sci-fi horror movies out there, um, especially like contemporary stuff. So this was really interesting to see. Um, Crypto the Superdog, I got the first season out of two. Law and Order Special Victims Unit, I only have one episode of this. And a bunch of special features and stuff. Intimidation Game. This is the Gamergate episode. I don't know if you remember. They did one. It had who was in it? Logan Paul and I don't know, a couple other YouTubers or something. It was entertaining in the way that that show can get ridiculous at times. Like sometimes the what do you call it? The attacker or whatever the thing is going on. The villain of the episode sometimes goes so mask off that it's not like a realistic story. You can tell this is an episode where they're trying to take a moral stance on a hot button issue. The League is hilarious. I got all of Legion of the Superheroes, which I love the show and didn't get a chance. I've got the only Leprechaun movies that matter, which is Leprechaun 4 in Space, Leprechaun 5 in the Hood, and then Leprechaun 6 Back to the Hood. Life is a fantastic science fiction movie. Highly recommend it. Um, Huge Superman fan, so you'll see a lot of that stuff here. Lois and Clark. Here's this documentary that they put out just before the Brandon Routh Superman movie came out. Longlegs is a fantastic movie. Bunch of animes, bunch of these magical girl things. Um, yeah, so I think it's pretty obvious at this point. I like horror. I like darker stuff. I like things, especially like where it seems like unassuming at first, and then as you kind of get deeper into it, you realize like how much despair there actually is going on in a lot of this stuff. Uh, hmm. Minecraft movie, fuck you, Microsoft. Here's the thing, they're shutting down the store. Why didn't they just give everybody a free copy of the Minecraft movie? Like, I know, was it Warner Brothers distributed it, but can't they just flip the bill? Although no, because if they gave this out, then everybody would expect them to keep their service open longer. Mr. Show, I have it on DVD. I wanted to rebuy it digitally. I only got the first season. This was back when David Cross was funny, and actually when Jack Black was funny too. And I miss this era. Um, I gotta be honest and maybe take some flack here. I do not like My Hero Academia. I tried to get into it. It's just because you might like Western superhero comics does not mean you're necessarily gonna like this one. A lot of Mystery Science Theater. This was some documentary on DC villains. Entertaining enough. Natural Born Killers, the director's cut. If you see this movie, it needs to be the director's cut. It is pretty gruesome, but that's kind of the point of the movie. Um, Never Sleep Again, Nightmare on Elm Street Legacy. I own this, and I own the Camp Crystal Lake Memories, both on Blu-ray. Fantastic. This is a 4-hour documentary covering every single Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger movie, even Freddy vs. Jason. And you get a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and it's fascinating, especially since New Line Cinema was basically created to, distribute this movie, and then New Line ends up, they released Lord of the Rings. So this is kind of a big moment, and also this was the first movie Johnny Depp was in. Much like Kevin Bacon's first appearance was in the first Friday the 13th, and then, Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, obviously. Um, Noir. I have a real soft spot for this show because this is probably, and it's not from 2011, it's from a lot earlier than that. See, I think these are just, they're all on the same date. I think that the date there you see is when they added it to the service, because I was watching this in 2001. And I remember that because this is probably the last anime show I watched before I kind of dropped out of the hobby for a while. Because the stuff that was coming up at the time was like Shaman King and a bunch of stuff that just, it looked too kiddie. I don't care about Beyblades. I don't, no thank you. Um, for a movie based off of a toy, a Ouija board game, this is a Hasbro movie, so make no mistake, it is the toy and not just generic Ouija in general. This is way better than any licensed toy movie has a right to be. Really, really effing scary. Um, it's a classic, over the top. Stallone has to win, he's a truck driver, and he has to win an arm wrestling contest to, what is it, to win money to regain custody of his son. If that doesn't sound interesting to you, then um, you should watch the trailer. It's a funny movie, but it isn't a must-see by any means. Paranormal Activity. I've got a fondness for found footage horror movies. I saw the third one in theater. I think that's actually probably the best one, and I'm not biased. Okay, well, the third one is really good, following the kind of the core family. I think the fourth one is really good because you had this young woman here who basically carried the film herself, which I thought was really impressive. And then the best one is probably the fifth one, the marked ones, because it did not tie into this whole family thing where these girls were marked and the grandma's a witch and it's all about this other nonsense. It's like, look, this is just like a creepy movie that has some basic connections to the cult from Paranormal Activity, but it's its own thing. Peacemaker and Penguin, I haven't finished all of both of those. Phantasm it's from 1979. It looks fantastic with the 4K remaster of it. Um, the first Poltergeist, again, looks amazing with the work they did cleaning it up. And still, 1982, this is still a very scary movie, I feel. Um, the remake they tried to do didn't hold a candle to this. I feel like if you've seen this movie, you get what I'm talking about. Um, Lots of Power Rangers stuff. These were super cheap, but for some reason, rather than having, like a box set with all of them, they had these volumes. And thing about the volumes that suck is, look, an hour 30 minutes. So it's like there's like however many episodes in here, but it's one long stream of video. There's not like chapters or this was a bad idea. This is probably one of the least known aspects of the DC Extended Universe, was the show Powerless. It's Vanessa Hudgens. She starts working, uh, I don't know where, with some office or something in a world where, these DC characters exist. Alan Tudyk here, he plays like an inept cousin of Bruce Wayne or something, who's been handed this position of this management position just because, he's the boss's relative or whatever, friends for the boys. Predator movies. That's part of the Alien franchise. I do have all of Psych. I really like the show. I did not manage to get the movie. I think there's two. Pyramid's a really good movie. Um, Quarantine, Quarantine's not bad. Quarantine 2 is interesting but not good. Neither one of these holds a candle to the original Rec movies, the Mexican ones, but uh, they tried. Um, Love me some First Blood. Stallone is actually a decent actor. I know he kind of gets lumped in with all these like 80s action hero meatheads, but I mean, First Blood was based off a book. This is like a really, and even honestly, even Rambo First Blood Part 2, um, like that whole thing where that woman he loves dies, and that's the whole reason why, I mean, this iconic red headband that's part of her skirt or whatever, and he tore it after she died because he wanted to take a piece of her with him. Like, yeah, this, if you guys want and any of this stuff, as you can kind of tell, I can ramble on for a long time. So, leave a comment or something. I'm happy to go into different crap. Um, Most of the Resident Evil stuff, I don't have the TV series. Well, you know what well, not the Netflix one, God no. They did an animated, was it Resident Evil Infinite or something? I think it was like 4 episodes. Rick and Morty, I have like, I think the first 3 seasons, and then it's just trailers and stuff. The box set, again, just because of special features. Look, Rick and Morty at the ATX Television Festival 2015 panel. It's over an hour. And it was free. That's a sweet, like, that's why I just claimed any kind of special features I could. So these are trailers. RoboCop Classic. Never got around to buying RoboCop 2. I know it takes a lot of flack. In some ways, it's kind of my favorite one. Like, obviously the first one is leagues better, but there's a sloppy charm that RoboCop 2 has that I just can't resist. Robotech, bummed out that I never got season 2 or 3. Rosemary's Baby 4K, this is an excellent movie. I also, earlier up above, I did have the, what's it called, Apartment 7A, which is the movie that came out, I think, in 2024. And it's kind of like, not a prequel to Rosemary's Baby because it takes place simultaneously in some parts. Um, Really interesting though, and great performance by the actress Julia Garner. Big fan of her stuff. Run Ronnie Run, the Mr. Show movie. There was a lot of controversy about this coming out, that it was so bad that they didn't want to release it or whatever, and then they ended up doing it. It wasn't as terrible as you'd think. But they took like a 10-minute sketch and they made it into a 90-minute movie. So I think it overstays its welcome pretty quickly. The most recent Scream movies, because aside from Scream 1, Scream 2, 3 were strangely unavailable. Um, Seinfeld, this is another thing. I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts. Shield, same thing. That Shield is such a hard show to watch. Um, I think my favorite one is, what, the 5th season when you get Glenn Close come on. I think that was a great performance. I thought she was really badass on that show. But holy shit, the show ends up in such a dark place. Oh my god. Um, Silent Hill. I love the first game. I haven't played the Silent Hill 2 remake, okay? But because it was kind of, I experienced this when it came out, and the impact it had on me in terms of like the atmosphere and the tension and like, this game had a lasting impact on me. And so the fact that this movie is very close to the storyline of the first game, I really do like, or I should say I love the first Silent Hill movie. The Silent Hill Revelation, uh, not that good. Now you'll see, this is 2006 and this is 2012. What happened was, the guy behind this, I think he's like some French director or something, he got into a vehicular fatality. I believe he was driving while intoxicated, and one of the passengers in the car he collided with passed away. So he did some jail time. And unfortunately, that halted any development on a Silent Hill sequel. And this guy was a fan of the game. He was really gung-ho to do a sequel. And I guess they wanted to exercise to maintain the property rights for film, I guess. So they pushed out Silent Hill Revelations. I think it's based off, what, the third game? And okay, obviously the nurse scene, and it's in the trailer for the movie. That's kind of like one of the standout moments for the film. But it again, I could be biased because of my love and my fondness for the first game, but and it could translate into the movies. But I think objectively, the first one is leagues better. Um, Something in the dirt. Was it Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson or something? The two guys that do these. I love their films. The Endless, I think, is a great movie. It's one of the more trippy movies I've seen over the last couple of years. So South Park, a bunch more anime, Spider-Man stuff. And again, I'm gonna take more flack. I don't really care too much about Spider-Man. Like, here's the thing. I thought the movies were great, especially Into the Spider-Verse. I haven't seen the new one. And I grew up watching the Fox Kids Spider-Man the animated series. Like that and X-Men were like probably my favorite shows on. Between that and Batman, and then eventually Superman. I never found a way to connect with the character on any kind of real level. Um, but I respect you if you do. All the Star Trek movies, unfortunately, none of the Star Trek shows because those are fucking being ransomed by Paramount. Star Trek the video game, Shatner versus Gorn viral video. Again, it's 2 minutes. I just claimed anything that was free, and that game was bad. People don't even remember it exists. I was hoping to get all the Starship Troopers movies, especially as they went into the animated ones, but here we are. Steel, classic. Steins Gate, Steins Gate Zero, and then the movie. Apparently this thing all deals with time travel and is very trippy, but also very rewarding if you stick with it. Um, let's be honest. I think if you've seen them both, you know that the TV miniseries for Stephen King's It is the superior version. Like the visuals in the two newer ones, obviously you can't compare, but I mean it's Tim Curry. Like you're not gonna top that. So The Strangers is I think a terrifying movie because it's not supernatural. It's a little too normal. Like it's a little too average, and that's kind of what makes it creepy because it is something that you could see happening. So again, I only got one season of Super Friends. Suicide Squad Isekai is hilarious. I think even if you don't like anime, but if you're familiar with the characters, like maybe you like the movies, I would say give it a shot. It's funny and um, like it's very much self-aware and self-referential and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, obviously I'm a huge Superman fan. So I've got the Christopher Reeve documentary, I got the Supergirl series, Supergirl movie. Unfortunately, only the first season of Superman and Lois, but the show is great, and I hear the ending was heartbreaking. Um, Supernatural, where I started to buy it, but then again, the complete series came out at such a good price, couldn't resist. Surviving Disaster is a hilarious show from, was this back when it was Spike? I think this is back when it was Spike TV. Um, my God, that's a long time ago. Swamp Thing was a fantastic series that got canceled before it even really aired because Warner Brothers had just been bought by, was it? Wait, when did this come out? It probably was when they were bought by Investigation Discovery or whatever. And so they're looking to trim the fat. And because this show hadn't come out yet, it wasn't successful. So they said, okay, well, axe that show. And it's a shame because when it did come out, critics and audiences both loved it. Synchronic, that's another one of those Benson Moorhead movies. They're kind of trippy and stuff like that. This one's good performances from Anthony Mackie and the other guy. Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go, just the first seasons of both, because those are the only ones on sale at the time. Uh, I don't understand the appeal of Teen Titans Go. I really don't. The first season I thought was great because it kind of balanced like lighthearted humor and team building moments with some like was Trigon in the first season or the second season? Either way, that's kind of a big deal to have like a demon come out in your kids' TV show. Um, Terraformars. I think I talked about this anime before on my channel. The first season is fantastic. The second season dropped the ball, especially in terms of animation. And the movie was decent, actually. I think the movie takes place before the anime. Terrifier 1 through 3. Loved the first one. Very much enjoy the second one. Have only seen the third one once, and I was kind of I'm not a prude or anything. I wasn't shocked, but I was taken back by the level of gore that the movie had. Like they went farther than I thought they would, and I thought it was cool. I was going like, "Oh shit!" the whole time, but yeah, it is what it is. Um, yeah, lots of horror movies do have fondness for older classic movies, The Big Sleep, The Maltese Falcon, stuff like that. There's something simple about these older black and white. Things are a lot more clear cut in terms of the storytelling and who's good and well, maybe not in some of those movies. Um, The Hobbit. So I bought the Lord of the Rings movies. The Hobbit movies, Microsoft was doing a deal with their rewards points, and I think it was 1,500 points per movie. So that's the equivalent. 1,500 points is what, like $1.50 or something like that. So it was like for 450, I got the extended Blu-ray 4K editions of the Hobbit movie. I did not like this. I saw the first one in theater. Okay, first of all, I saw the original Lord of the Rings trilogy in theater. Loved it. It was an epic experience. It's one of the first times I ever did shrooms. Anyways, The Hobbit, I tried to see it with my wife in the theater, and it's had that, excuse me, it had that weird aspect ratio thing, or it was a different frames per second thing or whatever, but it just, my wife and I both felt like uncomfortable watching it. Maybe it's just that aspect on that size of a screen. We did not enjoy the experience. I couldn't even really focus on the movie. So never saw the other two. The Hobbit, like Lord of the Rings, not really, but The Hobbit was one of my favorite books to read as a kid, and I should get around to this. Lots of cheesy movies, Lawnmower Man, um, Ice Road. You know, if you got Liam Neeson, it's probably going to be an entertaining movie. This one's where I think some convoy truckers have to drive across a frozen lake to save some people, or it just all the real Matrix movies, which is the first, second, and third one. I do have the Animatrix as well. That's it. There was no fourth one. They're not making a fifth one. I can't hear you. The Net. I have such a fondness for this movie because okay, so it came out in 1995. I was actually on the internet in 1995, and this was such a. It's like the movie Hackers, where it's like, oh my god, and I think today, because people on general are more familiar with computers and electronics and stuff like that, I think modern audiences will look at the net and hackers and be like, "Oh my God, this is so dumb." But back at the time, I think some of us were thinking the same thing. Like, I love the net, and because I think she's like, well, she orders a pizza from Domino's off her computer, and it's like, this is the future. Um, Number 23 is a really good movie. Jim Carrey, really dark performance, unexpected from him. Recommended. The Shining, one of my favorite movies of all time. I know some people have problems with it. I love hearing some of the discussion around it because there's so many strong opinions as to are there metaphors in the movie. Like there's a strong suggestion that they were talking about the rights of Native Americans and stuff like that. And Okay, Thing, classic movie. The Thing, the I thought it was a remake, but it turned out to be a prequel. Was surprisingly good, but I mean, nothing's gonna beat the original. The Wicker Man, classic Nick Cage movie. 3 Days of the Condor, classic spy movie. Yeah. Thundar the Barbarian. This is one of those shows where I don't know where you're gonna be able to find it now that this marketplace is gone. Um, I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I haven't seen it or heard about it for purchase anywhere. This is like an old Hanna-Barbera show from like the 70s, and I think it's just gone forever now. Except if you go looking for buried treasure, of course, which honestly, like, look how much time and stuff I've invested into my collection. This is a real sting. I might have to start looking for some buried treasure soon because yeah, I don't know. Tomodachi game I really enjoyed. I don't know if they did any more of it. I would be interested in watching more. Um, Transformers is a middling success. I think they really peaked with the third one. Um, just because I feel like the hype in the audience, everything was like, this is when the masses were most primed for this type of thing. Revenge of the Fallen, not so good. Rise of the Beast, I haven't seen. Boomer says, don't waste your time. True Detective, again, you see, this is just a trailer. I got season 1 and 2, fantastic price. And then seasons 1 through 4 came out, fantastic price. So I have the same thing twice. First season, I think it's amazing. Um, I mean, if you've seen it and you're seeing all the other stuff I'm into, you understand why. But oh my God, the performances with these two guys and the subject matter and getting to see that chick naked, it was definitely better than the second one was very strong too. Okay, don't get me wrong. And we never got around to watching 3 or 4 because we watched this one and then we took a break and then this ended up coming around later, so we just never got to 3 and 4. Underwater, I love this movie. Um, it's very claustrophobic and there's a heavy Lovecraft bent to it, so I mean, what more could you want? Unfriended was okay. This one is about this girl who committed suicide or something like that. Her ghost is like haunting her friends through Facebook or whatever. Unfriended the Dark Web, however, this one I thought was really good. Basically, it's okay. So there's this found footage genre, and it's of stuff people have filmed on their phone or on their camera or whatever. Because of the rise of technology and stuff like that, you're getting a genre of what they call screen life. And so that's what this is. It's basically a screen, and you just see the actors interacting through their webcams in their different locations and stuff like that. And this one is pretty cool. It starts off with one of the friends finds a laptop. So he takes it and he wipes everything and sort of claims it as his own, and then he starts group chatting with his friends because they're supposed to have a big hangout online, and then crazy stuff starts happening, and you find out that he didn't find the phone; it was left for him. I don't want to go into details. I do recommend this if you're into found footage or, like I said, this kind of not really emerging, but this becoming more prevalent screen life genre. Check it out. Until Dawn. I haven't touched PlayStation since PlayStation 2, so I never got to experience this. But the movie is really intriguing, and I know they remastered it, and it's on PC through Steam, so I likely will try to find it on sale. Um, I'm a big fan of V, the miniseries especially. There's something so cheesy about it. Like it just, I don't know. I can't explain it. I think hopefully if you guys understand, leave a comment because I don't want to feel like I'm the only crazy person here. Then I got V the Complete series. The remake V, which I thought was very, very good, which only lasted 2 seasons. Um, the one thing I didn't buy was V the Final Battle, which, so the miniseries aired. It was a two-part event. It ratings blockbusters. So they said, okay, let's make a TV show about it. And the TV show did not perform nearly as well. So they said, okay, we'll make another miniseries to kind of wrap up all the storylines and give you a conclusion. And that's the one, I believe I have that on DVD. I know I have these two. Um, Videodrome is an amazing horror movie. I feel like I keep saying about this, but like about every movie, but then I realize like this is my collection. Of course, I love everything in here. Um, yeah, 100% must watch. Waiting, I used to love because I felt like it was a kind of realistic portrayal of what it's like to work at a restaurant or kind of any job that feels like a menial shit job. Um, just in terms of the type of people you interact with, your coworkers, the customers, like it felt like there's a lot of authenticity about it. Unfortunately, what's come out since is that Ryan Reynolds is a giant piece of shit. And one of the things he was a piece of shit for is apparently on this movie, there's a young actress, her name is, Vanessa Langes. She was on a Canadian show called Radioactive, which, I mean, I think if you know about it, you kind of enjoyed it. Um, and she said that she was hired on to the movie, and at some point he said to her, like, if you want to keep your part in this movie, you have to sleep with me. And she did, and she said she regrets it, that the guy's a scummy person, and she should have just walked off the set and taken the career hit or whatever. Warhorse, a movie I love. It follows, I mean, all the movies about war they make, typically it's like World War II. This is a World War One story. It's fascinating because World War One, the world changed while this was going on. I mean, they started fighting on horseback and they ended up with like cars and machine guns. Like this is when they really started to discover the value of oil. And I read a statistic somewhere that said something like 8 million horses died during the First World War. And obviously decimating their population like that, that's why they've become such expensive animal. It's more for like the wealthy people when horses used to be for like the commoners and the wealthy people had cars. Uh, this is Watchmen, the series. I don't know much about it. I've heard mixed reviews. I do want to watch it for myself. I know it's a one and done. I think Damon Lindelof, one of the guys behind Lost, oh yeah, it says right there. He refused to do a second season. He said, I think he lied to the studio about this when he was signing on for this, but he said he only ever wanted to do one season, kind of just tell the story and it's done. Um, I do have Watchmen, the director's cut. My friend Boomer strongly dislikes this movie. I don't. I think it's no, I haven't seen the animated one yet, to be fair. But this did a better job of adapting a story that at the time I think a lot of people thought this is not something you could ever make a movie out of. Um, that said, I think Zack Snyder did a solid job on, especially the director's cut. Okay, you got to watch the director's cut. It makes a big difference. The Snyder cut or whatever. This makes a big difference over the normal film. We Own This City. Um, Okay, so I've got The Wire. The Wire is a fantastic show. We Own This City is, was it David Simon or I don't know, one of the guys behind The Wire, and he also did Homicide: Life on the Street. Um, he did this miniseries, and this is about, I think, some specific riots that happened in Baltimore in like 2017 or something like that. I mean, I'm Canadian, so please forgive me if I don't have all the history on the event correct. Um, Great performances. Welcome to Hell. This is a Spanish movie, and I thought it was really good. Um, there's some obvious metaphors there for like domestic abuse, but it's got kind of a surprise ending that, I mean, looking back at it, it's like, well, it's kind of obvious, but I thought was a surprise at the time. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, they only had Star Trek movies, but I did get the Deep Space Nine documentary. Um, Cisco, I know he's a commander and they only made him a captain towards the end of the run, but Cisco is my favorite captain. I thought the guy's such a leader. I thought, like, first of all, he's a single dad. That's not a, especially in the 90s, that's not something you would see portrayed a lot, like a single parent as a dad. Um, that wasn't goofy like on Full House. Like he was a stern but loving father to his son, and his son, developed and started to develop into a fine young man. And yeah, I'd say between Cisco and Janeway. Cisco, I think, was the best captain, but Janeway is the one that you would not want to go to war with. I don't know if you guys watched Voyager, that two-parter, The Year from Hell. Holy crap, man. She was like willing to sacrifice everything to destroy the Borg. Um, let's see. Wonder Woman crap. Workaholics. I love the show, but the humor is dated, and it definitely appealed to me more when I was younger, when it was coming out. All the Wrong Turn movies, except for the most recent one, where it's not hillbillies, it's some weird cult in the backwoods cult. Um, the first one is so good. It's such a good like indie horror movie. The second one is okay. I think that's the one with the army. I think they're training, and then the hillbillies come upon them. It's got Henry Rollins. Third one sucked. The fourth one was good. It was kind of like an origin story. It kind of showed you where these hillbillies, like kind of why they're all demented and stuff. They broke out of a mental hospital. Um, X-Files. I grew up with this show. It's a classic. I don't know. This is just one of the big shows for I feel like for my generation. I feel like I know not everybody was, but I felt like everybody was watching the show. It was a big deal when it moved from Friday nights to Sunday nights, but that's because culturally people were starting to go out more on Fridays. This was the early 90s. It was becoming more popular, more commonplace to go out to clubs or go out more socially like that than it had been in the past. Um, Obviously, this being a rating success, they figure, okay, let's move it to Sunday because everybody's at home because they got to go to work the next day. And yeah, I think the change worked, but I remember it was a big deal. Like, oh, you got to wait 2 more days. Um, I talked about Young Justice earlier. I like this show because I like these characters. I like the Con-El Superboy. I like Miss Martian. I do think it's cool that so they did this for I think 2 seasons. Then the storyline kind of changed and got a little more mature, so then it became Young Justice Outsiders. And as you can see, they brought in other characters like from Batman and the Outsiders teams from the books, like Black Lightning, Jefferson Pierce over here. Um, and then it never got a proper conclusion. But somehow, some way, through HBO Max, they commissioned a fifth final season to wrap up all the storylines. And like I said, I think that's where you get some crossover with the Green Lantern animated series. Um, Yu Yu Hakusho is another great show. Um, it's kind of like the Ghost Detective. I don't know what to say about this. If you know the show, you probably understand why it's so good. And if you don't know the show, I have no idea where you can watch it. But if you see it, check out the first couple episodes. I think you'll be entertained. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, I know the Snyder Cut is a meme. I know I don't understand all this hatred between like the Snyder fans and the James Gunn fans. Like, I mean, aren't you fans of the characters? I love Superman. I'm happy to see a new take on him. Like, that said, this movie 100% different from the Justice League that came out in theaters. After seeing this, now it's a 4-hour movie. Don't get it wrong. This is a endurance test to watch this thing. Not again, not from quality standpoint, just from the duration of it. Um, so what happened with the first Justice League movie was Zack Snyder and his wife, who he works with, she's a producer. Um, their daughter killed herself, and so a family crisis like that Hollywood's not important. They stepped away from it. Well, they had filmed a lot of the movie, so what they did was, hey, Joss Whedon did good on the first Avengers movie, let's get Joss Whedon to do the Justice League movie. And he made it all corny and cheeseball, and it sucked. It was that people say the Marvel humor, it's Joss Whedon humor. So Zack Snyder's Justice League, you watch it, and it's like the tone is so different. It's like, oh my God, Cyborg has such a meaty part in the Snyder cut. Like, there's like an emotional arc for him and his dad, and it's like, holy crap, it's such a better movie. Ah, frustrating. But I'm glad we did get it at some point. Now we need the David Ayer cut of the first Suicide Squad movie, and what else is there? Because I'm pretty sure for Suicide Squad, it's one of those things where the early trailers for the movie show you scenes and or characters that aren't in the final product, which means we know they filmed scenes that aren't in the movie. We know there's characters that were supposed to be in the storyline that are changed. And I think a lot of kind of movie fans in general would be interested in seeing, like, well, what's this alternative cut look like? Like, you know, and so we're capping off the bottom of my list here with Disney's Zootopia. This movie has a really special place for me because um, many years ago, my wife had to have a surgery, and when she was recovering, she really couldn't do much. And I think this was on Netflix at the time, and I threw it on, and it was such a nice movie to watch. It has such a great story. Um, the characters are cute, and it's funny, and like Moana, I think this is like a modern Disney classic. It obviously hasn't been around, not even 10 years yet, to sort of achieve maybe classic status, but I think it's one of their best things over the last 10, 15 years, again, along with Moana. Um, so yeah, that's my collection and an end to my rambling. Um, Sad times. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, it's not the end of the world, right? But at the same time, it's like I said, and you've seen, I'm a huge Superman fan. The James Gunn Superman movie recently came out. I can't go to the movie theater because of health reasons. I've been looking forward to streaming this thing. As soon as it became available for pre-purchase on the Microsoft Store, I was going to slap down full price for that bad boy. I don't care, not waiting for deals, not for this movie. And they closed the store. And it's like, okay, I know I can get it off Amazon. I've seen the listing on Amazon. They're willing to take your money for it, even though they don't know when it's going to be digitally released. They're still willing to take your money for it with the promise they'll let you access the license later on. Um, but the Google Movie Store, it's not on there, and I don't fuck with Apple. So yeah, it seems like there's basically only two marketplaces left for me, two digital storefronts for me to actually purchase and or rent content. And the scary thing about them is it's the majority is movies. Now you can see I have a lot of TV shows. It's been almost 17 years I've been building this collection. Like, we're talking like almost 2 decades. Um, I've curated this fairly well, with a few exceptions. I'm a huge fan of everything in here. Um, and like, okay, so they don't sell this stuff anymore. So I go on the Microsoft Marketplace, right? And you've got your wish list. And my wish list had movies and shows on it, which they can't sell. So I figure, okay, I gotta go manually delete everything. And I wish I took a picture, but I'm not that kind of person where the first thought is like, get the camera. Um, my wish list started off with 261 items, 261 on it. After I deleted all the movies and shows, 57 items. There were 204 movies or TV shows on my list. 57 are divided amongst a couple pieces of DLC, and then the rest are just games. And like I said, with what they did, I mean, you can't escape Windows, but you can definitely flee from Xbox. And this might be it for me. Yes, Steam runs off Windows. Like I said, you can't escape them, but I can stop giving them money for games. I mean, they don't want to take money from me for movies and shit, so whatever. Anyways, if you made it to the end, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe because you probably like what I have to say. Otherwise, I appreciate you listening to my rambling, and I hope you have a good one.